Hi there, Scorpio. Welcome to your February 2024 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here, just shuffling the cards a little bit. What are the odds, right? Your card. I'm doing a different spread than I normally do, like a four-person spread. Oh my gosh. Or I said four-person, I meant four cards. But that's your card, the death card. So it's never light. It seems like it's never lighthearted with Scorpios. It's always, well, that's pretty lighthearted. Um, we start with intensity right out of the gate. The heart of the matter is the death. Well, see, that's my, I'm so into that. I'm so plugged into my spiel that I can't even okay, so I'm just picking four cards. The first card I got for February is the death card. The death card can suggest for you Scorpio, that you have to leave something behind that is maybe connected to your past, that is maybe connected to something that is decaying. That one of the planets that rules you, Pluto, has recently gone into Aquarius, and that for you is your fourth house of home and family. And I think I did a video on eclipse season for Scorpio, so you can check my channel for more information. I'm not even going to promise I'm going to link it below because I'll probably forget. But, this idea of transformation that the death card represents, I mean, sure, you may be dealing with a death of somebody. And when I pick these cards, there's not really timing. It's almost like in the now moment. It happens to be February 1st, but you know what I mean. And so if you are dealing with something like that, it can feel very heavy, but it can also be, there are times when people feel, I think personally, I think that sometimes when you're dealing with the death of somebody close to you, that it can be one of the most alive times ever. And it's because you're really, because pardon my French, but shit's getting real. This is, you know, this is like, sometimes we just are sitting there in life, and we're just like, nothing's happening. We're just kind of like, I don't want to say wasting time, but we're just frittering away time with trivialities. And sometimes every moment is full of meaningful situations because we're in a heightened state of consciousness when somebody that we care about dies. So if you are currently experiencing this, understand that it may be heart-wrenching sometimes, but it can also be very elevating. This may speak to the fact that you need to change, and perhaps you're resistant to change. King of Cups, this can be, okay, here's an example. I do believe this is a guy. I was saying, no, who knows? I think some of these are even androgynous women. This deck has like pretty much all women, but it looks like Rider-Waite, like big time. That's what I like about it. I like the modern imagery and all the colors and everything. I was drawn to use this deck even though I had started this series with another deck. So this can be a counselor. This can be a yoga teacher, anybody who is, I would, in spite of this card, I would say even like, especially a male. And this kind of person is very caring. So sometimes it's really important that we acknowledge the gender in the cards because it can speak to the contrast, because we think of the feminine as the caring and the masculine as the physically strong and the brave and those kinds of attributes. And yes, there's a divine feminine, divine masculine, and it doesn't have to break down, as far as gender. And maybe that's what this card is really trying to suggest. But this is actually a very caring person because cups are connected to water energy. You're connected to water, you're a water sign. So we think of like professions that are connected to cups, like the healing arts. This would be somebody who is well versed in it because this is a king. So they're probably an expert, a professional, somebody like an authority figure on it. And you may be consulting them either like a therapist because you're in mourning over the loss of someone, or if it has to do with maybe the end of a marriage and you're um, saying, you know what, I really need to go into therapy because I want to learn from this situation. I don't want to just let it go on because maybe you've been noticing a pattern in your relationships that you know is not just a coincidence, that it really is showing you how you tend to go from one thing to the next and how that has not worked out in certain cases. We have the Nine of Wands. This can be a card of setting boundaries or enforcing boundaries. So, for any of you who have let go of a narcissist in your life, whenever I think of the Nine of Wands, I immediately think of a narcissist because these are people, because this card, I got my magic wand, can show the weariness of somebody. And by the way, I said wary, not weary. A lot of people get those two words mixed up on the internet. Weary means tired. Wary means cautious or, a little bit nervous about somebody or something. And that can indicate that you have dealt with this person before and you're just kind of waiting to see when the other shoe is going to drop. And if you have decided upon your boundaries, Scorpio, you don't have to kind of be anticipating that person because you know what the game plan is going to be. Sometimes people go back and forth with somebody in a relationship, and it's never really the death card because they just kind of believe the apologies, knowing full and well that there's no evidence that anything has fundamentally changed with that person, but they want to believe it. Or even just downright not somebody apologizing, but just like contacting you. And if you have been finding it hard to kind of deal with your breakup from that person, you may be like welcoming them with open arms, but that might have been in the past. When I see the Nine of Wands, the person probably knows what the drill is. And they're very apprehensive. They're not like, wow, this is great. They're like, oh no, what am I going to do now? And then we have the Sun card. And this is a card of that's connected to the sign of Leo, where we had that full moon back in late January. So that might have been a something that came out for you that made you realize something. That might have been a turning point for you. And Leo is your 10th house of career. It's also the house of the father. The full moon can be like the end. So for some of you, in that end of January, you may have lost your father, and that's what the death card represents. But I also think this can simply be, okay, I'm done with this relationship. This person's a narcissist and they're never going to change. I don't believe, not in this lifetime. I know that a lot of Scorpio people may be like that, where they're like, this person isn't going to change. but you might still be hoping that something changes. But the love card can be about love. I mean, I said the love card. The sun card can be about love. So new love can come in when there's something that the death card represents, the end of something. New love might be open for you during this time. Certainly, we're going to start in February. We're going to have planets going into your fifth house, which is the house of love for you. You already have Neptune and Saturn there. So you're with Saturn in the fifth house, Scorpio, you're definitely not frivolous about love. You take it seriously at this time. All right, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.